you know they're cooked properly? Today was about creating next-level seafood dishes. Visually, you did just that. I think this is some of the best food we've seen all competition. Let's hope they taste as good as they look. Because the worst 3 dishes on this table will head into the elimination. Only one of you will come back. Let's start on the top floor. This dish is a striped sea bass. It's topped with the maitake mushrooms with fried nori.
I'm on the top floor this time, so I know my dish definitely needs to be perfect.
This dish is exciting on my palate. Seaweed flavors come through very elegantly.
Wow, delicious. I think this is one of the strongest dishes this individual has cooked.
Everything works on this dish.
This competition is one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. But today I finally found my little tidbit of confidence and I'm gonna let it grow, not to arrogance level, but I'm gonna keep letting this momentum take me forward.
Next one. This was a beautifully pan-seared slice of halibut. Underneath that was a cauliflower puree dotted around with that little bit of caviar.
The halibut itself could have used just a little bit less cooking.
I love that little pop that you get from the caviar.
Next one. This is a black cod. It's sat on a bed of beautiful sweet pea grits. Fish is cooked beautifully. Oh my God, look at that.
Fish and grits. That's just a classic combination. Adding peas sort of takes it to the next level. Really sort of give this sweet savoriness to this dish.
Definitely next level dishes coming from the top floor. I hope the same came from the middle floor, Richard.
Yes.
Team Ramsay put out some tasty dishes, but Team Blaze, you're gonna blow them out of the water.
All right, we'll start with this crispy catfish over a homemade curry sauce with crispy seaweed.
I cook catfish all the time, but seafood is one of those things where you either cook it perfectly or you don't.
Catfish, how's that cooked? Mild glistening.
This is an amazing utilization of the seaweed. Way to elevate a fish that is not usually seen in this sort of light.
Spot on. Absolutely delicious. The only thing I'd want to see from that is the recipe.
You did good. Today was a good day.
Congratulations. That is next level.
Our next dish over here is pollock fish cake with sort of a Moroccan inspiration.
Fish cakes are delicious.
That sauce is absolutely stunning.
Our next dish here is a seared red snapper with charred kimchi. For me, this is Osetra caviar. This was the prime pick. Should have been picked on the, on the top floor.
The actual fish is tasty, but it's the combinations that have gone absolutely haywire here. We never serve the best caviar dumped on the top of a chili. That's never gonna work.
Definitely very briny forward. It's overpowering the rest of the dish.
It's badly thought out.
You know and I know that I up. Like, why did you have to say it out loud? Why can't you just whisper?
Unfortunately, there's 3 people going to elimination today, and I know for sure that one of them is me.
Our last dish here from the middle floor, rendition of Cullen skink.
What?
Which is a dish I'm not very familiar with. Gordon, you might be.
Quite honestly, it looks like the most bizarre Cullen skink on the planet. Because it's a soup, traditionally. Something we grew up with in Scotland.
Instead of a soup, what we have is a puree of the leek, the scallions, and some celery with some browned butter.
Took a risk, but not seeing some great faces.
Okay, Richard, should we go to the basement?
First up, this sort of shingled skewer, Korean barbecue, Kansas City barbecue inspired. So KCBBQ.
I so want to go to the top. I need just that little bit extra to get me out of the basement and to prove that my dish is worthy to be on top. So this moment is everything.
So innovative to retain the moisture in that pork by layering in that fresh fruit. Great idea.
Pork's cooked delicious. It's got that crispy texture on the outside with that amazing caramelized barbecue flavor.
Oh, I was forced to use something and created something magical. I'm feeling on top of the world.
All right, here we go. A pork T-bone with a chili relleno.
I personally would have rather dropped the chili relleno focused on the garnish, the stone fruit, the pork.
I would have liked a little bit more seasoning on the pork, but it's cooked beautifully.
The next dish, pork loin with a reverse sear.
So it's slightly dry.
Unfortunately, the pork's a little bit dry.
That reverse sear is so dangerous. A reverse sear is generally for a ribeye, something that's generous in fat, and there's hardly any fat in there. The hero is the pork, and unfortunately, that's underwhelming.
Damn.
Well, at this point in the competition, mistakes are unacceptable.
All right, next, pork belly vegetable fried rice. It's zucchini, cabbage, some breadcrumbs.
There's like a wet sense, so it doesn't work.
If you're gonna sell me on a rice dish that does not have rice in it, it better be the most impeccable fried rice. It should have elements of crunchiness and crispiness, right? But this is very soft throughout.
I tried to make it compact and cute, and it backfired on me.
What a shame. Next, Naisha, shall we? Middle floor.
Here we have a pork tenderloin wonton with mushrooms and chili oil. I'm just surprised that the stone fruit was not more prevalent in this dish.
To me, the broth, I would have loved to see it punched up a little bit more because, you know, the tenderloin wants some flavor. There's not a lot of flavor in it as is.
I just really wanted to push making a Chinese dish today, and I'm wondering if I tried to push the story a little too hard.
Here we have a roast pork loin.
I love the flavor of the chutney and the gravy. I wish there was more of both of those things.
Chutney is magnificent. I love that chutney, and it lifts that pork with the acidity and the sweetness.
Next, here we have rasta pasta. This is a gnudi with a pork ragu.
The flavors of the broth and everything else comes together. It's a delicious dish.
It's got heart. There is a lot of skill going on in there.
I am super excited. This is me on a plate, so to be able to translate that is surreal.
Next up, we have a roast pork loin.
Visually, to be honest, this has got cruise ship buffet vibes going on.
It is cooked properly. It's just sliced too thin. It just needs body and flavor, and it's lacking.
I am not inspired to enjoy this dish at all.
I drafted Piet for a reason. She's got raw talent, but it's my job to make sure that I spark that inspiration in her soul. Piet needs to produce dishes that move her up in this competition, not down.
This is tough. Shall we? I just hope all of you created a fusion dish, not a confusion.
Absolutely.
Right, shall we, Naisha?
Yes, chef.
Okay, so this dish right here, the chef had to use China and Morocco and did a sweet and sour pork fried couscous.
So visually, it looks rather plain. It's a shame because it's undercooked underneath and cooked nicely on top. But really sweet, really sweet.
Yes, I mean, it's really wiping out a lot of the flavors that were intended, I imagine, for this dish.
Okay, so this chef had the tough task of combining Brazil and Israel and did an achiote rubbed skirt steak with black beans, a pineapple salsa, and a tahini coconut date sauce.
Yeah, visually, let's be honest, the steak's actually cut the wrong way.
Oh, great. Piet's going home because she doesn't know how to cut a steak. I'm very worried at this point.
Conceptually, great ideas.
I really like the flavor of the sort of tahini coconut date sauce. Use some salt.
For me, it actually tasted better than it looked. When you expose protein like that, it needs seasoning inside. But the date puree works well. Right, shall we move to the middle floor?
Yes. We have a veal schnitzel. The inspiration behind this dish was Germany and Italy. This has a shaved cabbage salad with a soft polenta.
Please taste good, please taste good, please taste good.
This is the kind of dish that any professional chef with a German mum and an Italian father would be proud to put on their plate. The polentas, just you want to dive into that thing and smother it all over. And the cook on the veal is exceptional. That is next level fusion.
It tastes as good as it looks, right? When we talk about soul and love in a dish, this is it.
I'm just on cloud 9. I feel like a little kid who got the biggest hug from her grandmother ever.
So here we have a chicken breast. This has a beautiful curry sauce, a cauliflower and garbanzo bean puree. This chef had ingredients from India and Vietnam.
Curry's beautiful, fragrant, not too spicy. The chicken's slightly overcooked.
I would have loved to see more of the sauce, because that sauce was so delicious. And it's unfortunate that a bit more of that didn't make it on the plate.
For me, I would have loved to see a little bit more use of those fresh herbs, right? Like both of these countries share some herbs in common. I would have loved that all the flavors to come together.
The competition is definitely getting hard, and I know it seems like nitpicking, but when you're talking about $250,000 and you're talking about mentorship from 3 people, nitpicking is what's going to separate the top from the bottom.
This chef cooked through France and Greece. This is a roasted duck sort of pave cut with a béarnaise sauce.
The hardest part of this dish has been done perfectly. The duck is cooked beautifully, but a béarnaise with duck in any world is never gonna work.
It was very challenging, even to get to this point. I advised exactly what you're saying, chef.
I feel like I know what I did, and I just have to own it, I guess.
We asked you to produce a show-stopping plate. Finale worthy. They're fantastic.
Gorgeous.
Show-stopping dishes. It looks amazing.
I just hope right now that these taste as good as they look, because 2 of you will secure your spots directly into the finale. The rest of you will go head-to-head in your final cook-off to fight for that last remaining spot. Shall we start off on the middle floor? So it's a butter poached lobster laced with caviar, a kumquat gastrique, and then there's a ribbon of zucchini salad.
Caviar and lobster, luxury.
Now, butter poaching lobster, you know there's a fine mark on that, right? You've got the most dangerous protein to cook in the semi-finals. If it's cooked well, brilliant. If it's under, over, you're in trouble.
It's the hardest thing to cook.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. And it's cooked to utter perfection. Lobster's nailed. Absolutely beautiful.
No doubt. I think for me, that could have used a little bit finishing salt.
The lobster, I love that it's presented whole. The Swiss chard is kind of giving me these seaweed vibes. It's telling a story, this dish.
These are pan-seared scallops, truffled mashed potato. On the side, it's a radicchio lettuce. Plate choice came with an amazing truffle.
Radicchio sounded like an odd choice, but I love how the bitterness works with the sweet scallops.
Yes, the bitterness is lovely. Just a nice little pop of acid would have just really kind of taken this over the top.
What I love about this is that when someone's got the confidence in the semi-final to cook a scallop, that's a bold move, man. And scallops cook beautifully. Good job. We've got 1 social media chef and 1 home cook here, and their creativity absolutely blew me away. It oozed sophistication. Top floor.
We'll start over here.
That's beautiful.
Smoked spiced lamb with potato puree, tomatoes, and peaches.
When you see a dish like this passing through the dining room, it's an eye-catcher.
Wow.
I think it looks beautiful.
My palate is pleasantly excited with the notes of tanginess that I'm getting from the brightness of the peaches.
The smokiness is intriguing. So what would I change? Grill those peaches a bit more, but it's a good dish.
Over here, Wagyu beef filet mignon with mashed potatoes, bacon. The extra ingredient here was a squash blossom that did not get used in the final plating.
Really? Wagyu, I mean, so good you could eat it raw.
This is very bold. The seasoning on this Wagyu filet is spot on, really beautiful.
Wagyu cooked beautifully, melts in your mouth. Is it showtime? Here's the nitpicking semi-final moment for me. If you've got squash blossoms, which are in season for a tiny window, I would serve that to elevate.
Damn it, I should have done everything I could to get that squash blossom on there. That may have been the showstopper element that I needed.
From the bottom floor, halibut, carrots, potatoes, parsnips, bringing some opulence from that second grab through an uni beurre blanc. Presentation plate was left on the platform, unfortunately.
So no pickup on the...
Not in the plate, chef.
Halibut's a real tough fish to get right. That is slightly overcooked, but sea urchin's beautiful, creamy, sweet. Knife work, beautifully done.
It is lacking the piece de resistance, the plate itself, though, for sure. Tell you this, you're in for a treat.
Wow.
This is no easy feat to find one next level chef. Each one of these chefs are in the finale for a reason.
We're gonna start right here in front of me. This is Piet's dish. It is a pork-filled empanada with slaw with a cook time of 27 minutes.
Wow.
I think you're mad to attempt to make empanadas in that short period of time. Let's hope they taste as good as they look.
I have never made empanadas in 27 minutes. I just hope that the dough is cooked all the way through.
The empanadas are delicious. Pastry is cooked beautifully. Very, very impressive start.
I would have loved a little bit more creaminess from the avocado, but you have all of this textural contrast.
To create something in such a small amount of time, just absolutely bold, and I see the personality in this dish.
It is so impressive, damn near impossible, to make an empanada start to finish in 27 minutes. I would be very nervous if I was Richard or Gordon.
All right, let's go to our next dish. This is Ruel's dish of clams, steamed with some Spanish-style chorizo.
Ruel, how long was the cook time?
16 minutes.
Wow, that's impressive.
So I am interested to see if we developed enough flavor in only 16 minutes.
Those clams are delicious. Honestly, 16 minutes, like Superman in the kitchen. That says guts, balls, determination, but I need a crouton, slice of bread. I want to get in there, mop every little ounce of sauce.
The broth itself is uplifting, and it's getting my palate ready to enjoy a second course.
It's an easy dish to cook, so you bank some time. Hopefully that serves you very well.
Thank you, chef.
Your boy came to bat. I mean, those clams came from the basement, but the hands that touch it was meant for the top level.
There's a third strong appetizer coming, chefs. This is a crispy chicken lollipop glazed with an Aleppo pepper stout sauce, also utilizing 27 minutes, just seconds behind Piet.
So you fried these?
I did, chef.
And then coated them and fried them again?
No, chef.
Oh, you cooked them from raw with the batter?
Yes, chef.
That's a big risk there.
Wow.
Super risk.
Because sometimes the batter gets too dark and then the inside is undercooked.
This is like my dream. I don't want to mess this up.
Let's find out.
I cannot go out with raw chicken. I am praying the chicken is cooked.
You see that? Oh, boy. Do you know they're cooked properly?
Oh, they're good.
Cooked beautifully.
Listening.
Thank goodness. My chicken is cooked.
Wow. They are delicious.
Thank you, chef.
That sauce is fantastic.
You get the depth from the stout and the Aleppo pepper, elevating a very humble everyday food.
3 delicious appetizers. Right, next up, a seafood course from the middle kitchen. Roel, you bought yourself an 11-minute lead. 74 minutes left. Piet, Mariah, you both have a little over 63 minutes each. Head over to the elevator. Nice, we'll meet you upstairs.